What is going on? Brian Carroll here, powerxstrength.com HQ in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. Today, I am talking about bridging the gap, science versus experience in strength training and bodybuilding and power building. How about weightlifting and lifting weights and getting jacked and getting strong? For those that don't know, my name is Brian Carroll. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm a McGill Method certified provider, having power lifted for over 21 years and ending on a high note of being the first person to squat over 1,300 pounds. I now work with people all over the world from both a virtual standpoint and in person here in Jacksonville, Florida, with injury, resilience, and performance enhancement. I'm not giving you medical advice. For more information, go to powerxstrength.com. Thank you so much. Enjoy this video. A lot of people ask me what I think about the science-based approach. So something like a Jeff Nippard approach to strength training or bodybuilding or whatever it may be. I'll be clear up front. I think there's a lot of validity to the science-based training, strength training, bodybuilding, the Jeff Nippard style of training. His work is clear, it's well-researched, it's digestible for athletes and lifters, it's simplified, trying to make sense of programming, especially if you're a beginner. And even for many intermediates, it's a solid way to build a base. In some ways, it's missing some things like proper core work and different things like that, in my opinion, but it's still a much better place to start than others that are out there. It's a solid way to understand the base of training variables and volume and progression and intensity. Very, very basic and even helpful to some intermediate people. He's helped bring structure and awareness to a space that used to be filled with only bro science and chaos and whatever, like Boston Lloyd, Team 5cc, and all these people that are dead now. I think it is a good balance to the radical people out there that said they didn't care if they died and died. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. No ill will towards these people that bragged about the drug dosages they took or the training that they did or whatever it may be. It's just what they said. So I don't really have an opinion on that. That's not what I would do. My point is I'm somewhere in the middle. So sometimes you're a little too zoomed in on the literature and the PubMed studies. I'm more worried about real world results and case studies than just the PubMed. At some point, you have to zoom out a little bit and you have to ask, what about the guys who built world-class physiques and otherworldly strength and totals before the studies were even done or the studies have caught up? What about Arnold? What about Sergio Olivia? What about Jay Cutler, Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, Ed Cohn, Stan Efferding, Brian Shaw, Hafthor Bjornsson, John Hack? All these freaky people, Dave Hoff, all these legendary lifters, the Sean Frankels. I doubt they're the ones going home to their spreadsheet every night and updating down to the decimal of what they did. Now, maybe Cutler did some of those things, maybe some did, but you get what I'm saying. They didn't wait for a paper to tell them what worked. They were in the trenches. They were the case studies, just like I am the case study here in Gift of Injury. I'm the case study of bone scaffolding and rebuilding a spine to be resilient and robust enough not just to be pain-free after a split sacrum. So we don't have a sacrum in S1 here, but it would be down here at the bottom. And that body from compression, once you lose a little bit of disc height, you start getting a bone-on-bone type collision, as you may be able to see here with some spurring. And after a while, bone-on-bone collision, it can start to damage the vertebral body. Looking for the answer to your sleepless nights, sore muscles, and better overall well-being? If so, PowerX Strength CBD has you covered. All of our products are made of CBD isolate and have 0% THC, meaning there are no worries of failing a drug test or the worry of feeling high. With PowerX Strength CBD, we offer a wide range of products and payment options to ensure you have the option that best fits your needs. Don't just take it from me. All of our reviews and client testimonials on our site speak for themselves. You can even get 20% off your order by using code YT1306 at checkout. Go to powerxstrengthcbd.com to order now so you can get back to sleeping, recovering, lifting, feeling, and being better. I was the case study of someone that was able to go from disabling pain to being the first person to squat over 1,300 pounds. We are the case studies. The scientists are always behind us, the lifter, the athlete, the person in the trenches doing the work. The scientists figure out why it works. We just know it works. I didn't know why the hell progressive overload worked when I was 17. I just knew that it worked. Okay, you don't have to understand how something works for it to work. So here's how I see the overall landscape. I respect the science-based approach. It brings structure and clarity. It teaches important variables, fatigue management, kind of like what I talk about in my 10-20 life. Progressive overload, stimulus to fatigue ratios. I'm not a big person on training to failure. This keeps people safe and makes training accessible to a mass audience when it's really simple like that. But science alone is not enough. Studies don't often capture the extremes, maximal strength, long-term spinal wear or injury comebacks from some of these studies. You can't quantify everything that matters. The mental side, the intuition, the feel of training through adversity or just not wanting to train that day or feeling really good and going off program. These are all things that the legendary lifters would do. I know people at Westside Barbell that would walk in the gym, not be feeling it, and then go eat at Bob Evans and blow off training and come back the next day. Now, if you're a lifting dork, you probably would not allow yourself that type of permission. I've went to gyms before and had a shitty workout, went home pissed, threw my stuff on top of the shed, threw a fit, came back the next day, got my stuff down off the top of the shed, and then repeated the workout and hit PRs. So studies want to count for the mental side of things, the intuition, the feels. Some days you just don't have it. What if your paper says, oh, you got to test the max today because the data say, and you need to do this? No, who cares about all that stuff? You got to go by feel some of the time too. Now there's exceptions for this, especially with back injured people. You can see all my back injured content here on YouTube, Brian Carroll 1306, and how feelings can get you in trouble. I feel like I should be able to lift. I feel good today, even though I still have some pain. There's a difference there. The intuition with back pain and the difference between, oh, I'm lazy, I don't want to lift today. My approach is in the middle. They used methods passed down by mentors, refined in chalk-filled gyms and adapted through injury and setbacks. The real world proof is undeniable. Look at the decades of high performing, consistent lifters and athletes. Many didn't follow a scientific consensus or an algorithm. My approach lives right in the middle. It's not a Nippard and it's not a Ronnie Coleman, and I know Ronnie Coleman is a poor example being the poor health that he's in right now, but the way he trained undeniably made him the freakiest person ever lived, probably. That doesn't mean it was good for his spine health. So what can we do? We can learn from people like Ronnie Coleman. Use science to inform but not dictate. Lean on systems like 10-20 Life that have stood the test of time. Conjugate training, having deloads, having phases of training, having specialized assistance work, proper core work. You gotta do all these different things. Prioritize spinal adaptation, bar variation, individual technique that serves the lifter, not the textbook, according to what the data say. And training needs to be sustainable, adaptive, and smart. Your AI or your spreadsheet is not that smart. It doesn't understand the nuances of strength training and the mental, physical, psychological, psychosocial aspects of lifting and back pain. It'll tell you something on a piece of paper without considering that. Lab versus platform. Nippard leans on studies more so. I lean on experience and decades longer than he's been alive, much less training and putting out the good content that he does. I'm not taking a dump on the dude. Science gives us the average response. I care about outliers, okay? People with injuries, weird leverages, real world stress. Science gives us the average response. Template versus tailored, custom versus template. Templates are terrible. Templates suck. It's a good starting point, but then you have to deviate according to your goals and your weak points and your injury history. Optimization versus resilience. Not everything needs to be optimal. You're going to go crazy trying to make everything perfect and optimal. Sometimes it needs to be doable for 10 plus years without breaking down before you want to start optimizing it and tinkering with it. The YouTube polish is great. Polish versus grit. I guess I'm more gritty. Some of these other people are more polished. I get that. But the real training lessons come in the dark gyms in the middle of the night on a Saturday afternoon in 100-degree heat in a convection shed, 110 degrees inside, squatting for 5 hours, deadlifting for 5 hours for 20 years straight, the rehab rooms and the second comeback or third comeback or fourth comeback after surgery, not in a textbook or a pretty YouTube video with a cool infographic. The bottom line is you need both. Science can be the guide around the edges, but the heart of great training is built in the real world, not in some study. Respect the lab, but don't forget the lifters who are the evidence. That's all I got. Somewhere in the middle. Don't be a Nippard, but also maybe don't be a Ronnie Coleman. Maybe do a Ronnie Nippard in the middle there. Less the wheelchair and less the 4'9" height. I'm just kidding.
Hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, like, subscribe, share, click the notifications because we drop videos twice a week. We also have a live stream every Friday where I answer your questions. Click below to see the latest video that we uploaded. Also, for our products, our CBD, our books that correspond with these videos, it's down in the description. For more information about all things Brian Carroll and PowerX Strength, go to powerxstrength.com. You can book a consult both virtually and in person with me. Enjoy your week, and thank you so much.